Who Gets Saved? Episode 17. Love risks pain, but indifference risks something far worse. This is the Sci-Fi Griot. I'm your host, Nicholas Cunningham. In the last episode, we talked about love and hope as risk. Choices made freely, but without guarantees. But today we're dealing with a different kind of decision. Not love chosen, but survival decided. Because when futures break, when systems strain, when resources shrink, someone always has to decide who gets to be saved. And that decision is never neutral. Science fiction understands this deeply. That's why so many of its most disturbing stories aren't about extinction, it's about selection. Who is protected, who is prioritized, and who is quietly left behind. Scarcity creates moral triage. The moment scarcity enters a story, morality changes shape. Choices become framed as necessity. Ethics become conditional. Compassion becomes selective. Science fiction returns to this scenario again and again because it exposes a hard truth. When not everyone can be saved, values become visible. In these moments, society don't ask what is right. They ask what is possible. And possibility is often defined by power, proximity, and privilege. This is where science fiction stops being speculative and starts being diagnostic. Children of men, hope is guarded, not shared. In the film Children of Men, humanity is infertile. The future has stopped, but the world hasn't collapsed. Government still exists, borders still matter, inequality still functions. And when hope finally appears in the form of a pregnant woman, the question isn't whether she should be protected, it's by whom. Every faction wants control of hope. They don't want to share it, but they want to manage it. Theo doesn't save humanity through leadership, he protects hope through movement, through getting one fragile life past systems that want to own it. Children of Men makes something very clear. When hope is rare, it becomes a resource, and resources are to be guarded, not distributed. Elysium, the film Elysium, access as salvation. This film doesn't hide this message at all. The technology exists to heal everyone. The barrier is not capacity, is not capacity, it's not capability, it's access. Healthcare is abundant, just not for everyone. Safety is guaranteed for those in orbit. Earth's suffering isn't accidental, it's the cost of maintaining paradise elsewhere. In Elysium, people aren't told they must suffer, they're simply excluded. Their pain isn't justified, it's actually ignored, which raises an uncomfortable question. If a system can save everyone but chooses not to, is it still a system worth preserving? The film Snowpiercer, Necessity as Moral Cover. This film presents a different logic. Here, inequality isn't hidden, it's explained. The train only works because balance is enforced. Children are used as parts, bodies are counted as fuel. Order is maintained through sacrifice. And what makes this so terrifying is how reasonable it actually sounds. Every atrocity is framed as unavoidable. Every death is justified by survival. Snowpiercer shows us a system that doesn't deny cruelty. It it actually sanctions it. Access versus necessity. This is why Elysium and Snowpiercer belongs together. They are two moral languages used to defend the same outcome. Think about it. In Elysium, inequality is justified through access. The system says you can't come. Rules exist. Borders exist. Permission is withheld. Suffering is not required, it's tolerated. Also, think about it in Snowpiercer, inequality is justified through necessity. The system says you must stay where you are. Scarcity is invoked. Physics is blamed. Sacrifice is ritualized. Suffering isn't ignored, it's demanded. And science fiction is asking us to notice something crucial. When access is denied, suffering looks like neglect. When necessity is invoked, suffering looks like duty. But the outcome is identical. Some people live comfortably because others don't. One system says, we could save you, but we just won't. The other system says, we can't save you, and that's why you must suffer. The danger isn't cruelty, it's justification. So, who decides and from where? Who decides to decide who is saved? Those closest to danger or those furthest from it? Those affected or those insulated? Science fiction consistently shows us that decisions made at a distance are much easier. The stacks don't cry. Spreadsheets don't suffer, but people do. This is why sci fi keeps placing us on the ground level, so we can feel when abstraction erases. When being saved has conditions. Sometimes survival isn't denied outright, it's conditional. Behave correctly, comply, assimilate, science fiction warns us. Conditional survival is not salvation. What is it? It's control. And when people accept survival at any cost, the costs never stop rising. So, why this question will never go away? Every generation believes it will avoid the worst mistakes. But get this, every future eventually faces scarcity. And when it does, the same question always returns. Who matters enough to save? Science fiction doesn't offer comfort here. It offers clarity. So in conclusion, who gets to be saved? Science fiction answered it unsettlingly. Not everyone, not equally, and rarely without struggle. But it leaves us with one final question for this arch. After selection, after sacrifice, after survival, what makes a future worth living in it at all? That's where we're headed next. This has been the Sci-Fi Griot, a place to slow down, to reflect, and to ask who is missing from the futures we protect. Survival decides who remains, meaning decides why it matters.